Hello everybody. Well, today is really grim here at the refuge because it's raining and we desperately need the rain. But of course it's quite difficult to manage all these animals when it's wet and muddy. They're all in their stables at the moment and that is extra work for the staff who look after them. And it's cold and I don't like the cold very much, but there we go. I just wanted to update you on a few things, as I said I would. The recent admissions we've had, which people are concerned about, the main ones I'd just like to touch on. Firstly, the birth of Phoenix was so exciting, so unbelievably amazing. It was a miracle. We had her mother, Maya, who was named after one of the friends of the Holworth sisters, who have been huge supporters of ours. And we realised very recently, Omar, who looks after the horses, indicated that he thought this horse was about to give foal. We couldn't tell because she was in such a poor physical state, and she did. The foal is perfect. They're under very strict medical care at the moment, and we are absolutely delighted. Of course, we can't do that for every horse in Morocco, but we can use it as an example of what can be done. And the incredible resilience of the horses in Morocco, who have suffered a torment many would just deem to be unfathomable, that at the end of the day, they can give birth. So to those of you that posted and said to me, I should put her down, she'd be in pain, and the foal would probably die. Well, I have got some simple language to say to you, but I daren't say it online. But what I mean is, you were wrong. So that takes us on to the little baby of the broken leg, who's been a little neglected because we've been so busy with other things in terms of telling you the progress. Do you remember the baby that came in that had a leg that had been broken for quite a long time? And it had come from the north of the country. And we were worried, but we were bogged down with other things. And when I was out in the big paddock yesterday, a baby came running up to me with a coat on, and I stroked her and went to take the coat off because it was too hot. And I said, this baby, where's she come from? And it was actually the baby with the broken leg. Now, that leg is never going to properly repair, but she was running up to me and she was running around the paddock using her leg as a bit of a splint in itself. So well done to all the boys who'd managed to get her to that stage. I'm going to race on because I have quite a lot to say. And I suppose the real tragedy amongst all the others that have come in this week was the donkey who lived with and owned by a man who for years has been collecting thorn in the neighbourhood. We know him very well. His donkey's always worked hard. He has a small garden and wild dogs jumped the fence and attacked him. First of all, let me deal with the dogs. There are lots of comments about the dogs. It's a huge problem here in Morocco, and a lot of us are working very closely together with the government to try and address this situation. But at the moment, dogs in the cities have been deemed by those in authority that they should not be shot. But it isn't always the case. Local authorities can have a mind of their own, and it isn't a very happy situation at the moment. But that's another story, which I'll talk about later. The dogs that attacked this donkey were actually wild dogs. When I say that, they were living in packs in the countryside, because we are out in the countryside. We've had very little rain, crops have dried up. It is horrendous, basically. And I'm sure they were hungry, and that is what happened. Now, if people... Just a minute. Jasper, quiet. I'll try and speak above Jasper. He has a mind of his own. If people write to me and ask me about what is being done about these dogs, I can't give a quick answer. We are in Morocco and it's very complicated. So that then brings me on to the question of asking me questions. We try and post every day, and the reason we do is so that those who support us and donate to us know exactly what we're doing. But would you bear in mind, we are now running a huge refuge. I do all the administration. So what might seem to you as a very simple question, I have to take time out to answer. So please try to restrict your questions to what is absolutely necessary. We try to answer every single question. But yesterday and the day before, I was absolutely worn out with answering questions. So if you just bear that in mind. In terms of the donkey that came in, you know that Ayub rescued him, got the van, got friends in the village. He came into a stable and he had a good meal. He was given painkillers and antibiotics. And the vet came immediately in the morning and stitched up the wounds. There were quite big gashes on his head there, and they really did need to be stitched. I asked the vet in a very straightforward way. I said, well, can you now give him a rabies injection? Because he was attacked by wild dogs. They may well have been carrying rabies. And he said, no, I can't because of the regulations here. We now have to keep him isolated for 3 months to see whether he develops rabies or not. And I said, oh my God, what are we going to do? Another stable occupied with a donkey, and we're desperately in need of more stables. So we hit on the solution. We brought Hussein down, who owns the donkey, who was delighted at what we'd done. But he has agreed as soon as the donkey's well enough, we'll go back to his little garden and we will build a shelter, a little stable for the donkey there, and maybe have some sort of an alarm set up. But the donkey can stay there for the next 3 months and then we'll get him his rabies injection. That brings me on to the building of stables. We are desperate for them. Hussein and his colleague Omar, who do a lot of the building down this end of the refuge, and Omar and Khalid build up near the horses' stables, are both run off their feet. We have 3 more being built at the moment, and I have to say to you that it's not a question of putting up quick shelters. We live in quite a fierce climate, actually. It's either very hot or there is wind and rain. And I promise you, with the number of equines we have, if we put up a wooden shelter with bamboo, it wouldn't last 5 minutes. We have to build proper stables. We build out of mud where we can, but when we have to build quickly, we build out of breezebok and cover it with mud so that we can get some shelter. And that is clearly an issue at the moment. Of course, a lot of the donkeys are arriving now because people just can't afford to feed them anymore. The price of food has just risen astronomically in Morocco, as it has the rest of the world. And at the end of the day, it's the animals that suffer. But of course, the price of food has risen for us as well. We won't see an animal go without, but this is something we've got to address. We have to increase our number of donors. We don't expect our donors to give more. We just want to spread the word, really. I mean, that just makes absolute common sense. We're managing at the moment, and we run the place in a very business-like way, so we just about keep on top of everything. And I think over the next day or 2, we have a horse coming in from someone in Essaouira tomorrow. That's a mare, and we have a stable for her. We have a stallion coming down from Sally in SFT in Tangier, and we have a stable for him. But Sally, for which we're very grateful, has agreed to keep the baby donkey called Tanger, who was rescued by a rubbish site. He's settled very well at Sally's and she can accommodate him there. So that helps us quite a lot. And of course, talking about donations, you know that I don't come on here and beg for donations. I really don't. But we did post on Instagram and Facebook yesterday from someone we know in the States who donated £1,000 in memory of her father. Now, she was very happy for that to go public because she felt it would assist in raising further donations. And we are extremely grateful. And when we have large donations like that, they do go towards doing something positive rather than just feed and salaries and everyday medical care. But I have to tell you, we have had so many wonderful donors, a lot from the States, who have donated in spades. And very soon I'm going to take you round the refuge and show you how we have named various barns and stables after them, so their contribution to us is recognised, because it has been magnificent and we are grateful to all of you. But I will come back to that in another video. And of course, it's a huge gift when someone sends £1,000. Absolutely, we are so grateful. But you only have to look at our accounts to see that it costs us £4,000 a week to run Georgia. Now, I'm not complaining. We have now over 250 equines. We appear to be the only facility in Morocco that has equines of that number. And what would you expect me to do? If these two little babies that arrived this morning, I said, no, we have no room, we can't take them. Those of you that do support me would be horrified. So we have to say, we must look to the future. As we appear to be the only ones at the moment and we have the infrastructure in place, we've invested in the water and the electricity, and it's not easy to do that. We have to look around us, we have green fields, we can enlarge, and that's what we'll have to do. I think I will be writing to the King, actually. I hope you'd all support me in that. And for now, I'm going to leave it there. And again, thank you. I couldn't do it